Good evening. This is Victor Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha, and my name is Brian. I am your controller tonight for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net. This net is available in the club's VHF repeater at Echo Link between 20:30 hours and approximately 21:45 hours local time in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. It is also streamed live on YouTube, where archives of previous nets can be found. Stand by, please. To participate in the net on the VE3MIS VHF repeater, tune 145.430 MHz with a negative 600 kHz offset and a 103.5 Hz tone. To participate on Echolink, connect to the TechLink conference, node number 9229, and to listen live on YouTube and comment, search YouTube for VE3MIS. Stand by, please. If you would like to find out more about the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club, visit our website at www.ve3mis.ca. That's Victor Echo 3 Mike India Sierra .Charlie Alpha. Our email address is ve3mis@rac.ca. That's Victor Echo 3 Mike India Sierra at Romeo Alpha Charlie .Charlie Alpha. Stand by, please. The purpose of this net is to pass news and views along to members and visitors of the club. It also provides experience to volunteer operators in net and emergency operating procedures. All check-ins are welcome, and we especially invite non-members to join in. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club meets virtually via Zoom conferencing software on the second and fourth Thursday of each month. Our meetings emphasize comradeship and learning and are open to guests and visitors. See our website to learn how to join virtual meetings. Non-members who wish to attend should email ve3mis@rac.ca to obtain instructions for virtual admission. Stand by, please. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club also meets in person. We actually live stream the in-person meeting through Zoom, but we have resumed in-person meetings, and that they happen at 7:30 p.m. on the second and fourth Thursday of the month at the St. Thomas of Becket Church Hall, 3535 South Common Court in Mississauga, near the intersection of Erin Mills Parkway and South Common Court. Our meetings emphasize comradeship and learning and are open to guests and visitors. Stand by, please. The net will be conducted in two rounds, a check-in round and a 7-3 round. During the check-in round, check-ins will be called in two broad groups of traffic, short-time check-ins and general check-ins. Emergency check-ins will be taken at any time. Sometimes mobile RF and Echolink check-ins may be called by themselves to reduce the risk of doubling. Please listen carefully and check in with a group that best matches your circumstances. Finally, avoid transmitting more than about 1 minute without keying up to prevent system timeouts. And before we actually get to the check-ins, I'll just go over a few brief announcements. Stand by, please. This Thursday, October 7th, there is an executive meeting, and you can contact the club email for further instructions if you plan to attend. Usually that's the admission instructions are emailed to the members of the executive, and that's usually at 7:30 p.m. Aries is generally the third week of the month, so there's no meeting this week. Maybe we'll hear more from Brian about that. There's no general membership meeting this week as it falls on the second and the fourth Thursday, but there is a executive meeting. Let's see. Okay, let's take a quick standby and we'll go to check-ins. Again, your controller for tonight's net is Brian, that's me, and my call sign is Victor, Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha. When checking in, please announce your call sign using phonetics, followed by your first name. We'll take a quick standby. Okay, and we are looking for short time RF check-ins first. So if you're not going to be here for both rounds and you're on RF, come now please. RF only short time.
Victor Echo 3, Whiskey Yankee Delta, Peter.
Okay, net control acknowledges VE3WYD Peter for short time RF. Let's look for some, and we'll come to you in a second here, Peter. But let's look for some Echolink short time. If you're on Echolink or other digital via Echolink, and you're only going to be here for the first round, come now please. We'll take those call signs too. Short time Echolink.
Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu, Gary and Halliburton, short time.
Okay, net control acknowledges VA3GDZ, Gary in Halliburton for Echolink short time. And, well, we'll do these short time check-ins right now. We'll just go back to Peter. And Peter, hope all is well with you. You seem to be hitting the repeater quite well tonight, and hope every other radio endeavor is going as smoothly. Net control to VE3WYD.
Well, hello Brian and everyone else on net. Things are well here in Brampton. I'm doing well. Work is keeping me busy. That's why I'm doing a quick check-in, because gotta go to sleep and get ready for tomorrow. So, but I'll listen for as long as I can. Back to you, net control.
VE3WYD, VA3A today, returning. Okay, Peter, well, we're glad you're able to make it in. Yeah, I know what you mean. I have to get up early and get ready for the day. I have to get up early and do all my COVID attestation before I go to work. Every day I have to attest that you're not sick, so that always adds a little bit. And then a couple other people have to do that too in the morning, so kind of we get started a little bit earlier because of that. Anyway, thanks for joining, and well, we might give you a call in the second round if you're here. That's great. If not, that's okay too. Let's go to VA3GDZ, and Mr. Gary is all the way in Halliburton this evening. Hope all is well. Is it? I don't know, you can tell me if it's as rainy there as it is or has been here, Gary. We'll pass it to you. Net control to VA3GDZ.
Good evening there, Brian, and hi to all on the net this evening. It's nice to see the HAM conference in there, and man, they have a lot of linked conferences. Yeah, we're up enjoying the fall colors here in central Ontario, and it is just gorgeous. I'm convinced it's at the peak right about now, plus or minus a day, both here and towards the Algonquin Park area. It's been rainy only on the weekends, unfortunately. During the week, it's not bad, and tomorrow's supposed to be partly sunny, and we're going to go on a day-long tour of Muskoka, so we're getting ready for that. I can only come in for a one-time check-in today. We also were doing studio tours. It's the time of year for studio tours. These people who do glass blowing and pottery and painting, they invite you into their studios. They offer you some hot apple cider and cookies and show you what they're doing, and it's beautiful to tour around. All very friendly people, and they're getting the pumpkins out. And this weekend is turkey time. We also already got our turkey, and our adult kids have heard that there's a free meal available, so we hope to have them visit us this weekend. Anyways, that's what's new here in central Ontario. Peak fall colors and Thanksgiving coming up. Back to you. Everybody stay well. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu. Gary coming in from cottage country of central Ontario.
VE3 GTZ, VE3 AZA, net control returning. Okay, Gary, sounds good. Interesting that it seems, so you think it's kind of peaking right now. That's interesting. I guess, it's different, slightly different locations. So I've seen things kind of bursting out here, starting to, but I think we have a couple more weeks. Well, who knows? Sometimes it turns pretty quickly, but I think there's a little bit more to be seen, at least in the Mississauga area. I was down in southwestern Ontario on the weekend, and there it didn't, there was traces of the colors, but not a lot. So I think another trip down there would probably be a good investment for leave watching and such. But yeah, it sounds very good, and you're visiting the galleries too. So we're glad you could join us this evening, and at least you can make it in on this round. And good to hear from you. Okay, going to take a quick standby here. Alrighty, net control is back, and okay, so that was I think that was the end of our short time check-ins. Let's go to general check-ins right now, and we will start off with RF general check-ins. So I'm looking for anyone who would like to check in to the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday night net on RF. So you're on the Mississauga repeater, probably. If you're out there on RF and you'd like to check in, come now, please. General check-in.
Echo 3, Juliet, Mike, Yankee, Murray.
CY, checking in. This is Ed from the Villages, Florida.
Yeah, that's right, straight to you. Good morning.
Victor, Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra.
Barry, over.
Okay, net control acknowledges some check-ins there. I think some of them were echo linked. We were looking for RF, but that's okay. And I know Barry, I heard Barry, I think, and I'm just going to stick you at the end of the list here, Barry. I think I think Brian may have doubled on you, but just stand by for just a second. Okay, net control is returned. All right, so let's see. This little read back here. I think it's VE3WBF Barry and VE3XBH Brian and VK3HJQ John and KF4CCY, and I think the name was Ed for KF4CCY, and VE3JMY, and that's Murray. So we'll go to Murray first. Murray, hope all is well. Net control to VE3JMY.
VE3MIS.
VE3AZA, VE3JMY in the group. Good evening, Brian, and all on frequency. Thanks very much for the net there, Brian. Beautiful day here in Mississauga. Our street has sort of a sea of small, bright yellow leaves. And actually there was a neighbor walking around taking photos. The air was nice and fresh, and a nice time that we often don't get. No great wind chill, and but enjoyable, Brian. So we'll be listening. Thanks again. Over to you.
VE3JMY, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, Murray, sounds good. Maybe I haven't been watching. Maybe there's more fall going on in the leaves than I noticed. But good for you. And yeah, it always attracts lots of photographers and artists of all varieties to kind of capture the magic while it lasts. And so that's good. I'm glad. Yeah, it is kind of nice time of year. I guess it's going to get cool soon. Cool and drier anyway. That's probably a few weeks away. Okay, let's go to KF4CCY, and I think it's Ed, but you can correct me on the call sign. Net control to KF4CCY.
This is KF4CCY. KF4CCY. This is Ed in the Villages, Florida. the weather here is just beautiful, and it's probably going to stay that way all the way until next summer. So I appreciate listening to the net. It's a lot of fun for me. I'm new on this, so one of my friends hooked me up on this. His call sign is K2JPZ out of Claremont, Florida, and I appreciate everything he's done for me. Over.
Okay, F4CCY, this is Victor Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha, and Ed, well, it's a pleasure to have you aboard, and feel free to join any Tuesday night. You're free. This net is run by the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club here in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Mississauga is kind of just a little bit north of, across the lake from Buffalo, actually. If you go across Lake Ontario, kind of, that's sort of where we are. We're west, just a little bit west of the city of Toronto. And we're here every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. local time, and we have a connection to RF. Our repeater is hooked up to Echolink, so we get all kinds of call signs from around the world, like yourself, and people who are local as well. So we're glad you're able to join us this evening. Let's see. Let's go to VK, speaking of around the world, let's go to VK3HJQ, and that's John in Australia. John, we'll pass it to you. Hope all is well.
Hey, no, it's not afternoon, still morning, 11:47 a.m. Just got home from the library. Well, I didn't go to the library, my wife did. I said, make sure you put a mask on and wear gloves, can't be touching any things, and then disinfect the books. I don't know how you disinfect the books, Brian. Is it Brian? I think it's Brian. It's like Brian. What do? Spray disinfectant all over the books? I don't know. Anyway, I don't touch them. What else to report? Yeah, beautiful day down here. A lot of cases today in Victoria. 1,420, 11 people passed away, 14,410 active cases in Victoria. What a mess. Anyway, the cases are going to go up. They reckon this month's going to be the worst month for it. Hang on, better give you the WX report from down under. Local weather, 8, 9, 10, 15 degrees C. But yeah, beautiful sunny day out in the middle of nowhere where I am. So all good. Thanks for running the net. Back to net control, VK3HJQ.
VK3HJQ, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, John. Good to hear from you. And yeah, gee, disinfecting the books, don't know. But you know what? I find books are kind of like money these days. It's a strange comparison, but all the stuff I read on a tablet. And I've read like all kinds of stuff, not just technical, but other things on my tablet. So that's a problem. I don't worry too much about, because I don't usually come into contact with books anymore. Everything's electronic. So just like money. This is the connection to money. Whenever I buy anything, it seems to be under $100 Canadian, and I buy it with the app on my iPhone. The wallet, I guess. You use your bank cards for your iPhone with the with the pin pad and such. So never come into contact with money. Never come into contact with books. Everything's a sort of tablet based or smartphone based. Anyway. Good to hear from you, and we'll keep you on the list here. Let's go down to Brian, VE3XBH. Brian, over to you.
VA3AZA, this is VE3XBH. Good evening, Brian, and hello to everybody on the net this evening. Not an awful lot going on here. Nice day today. Just been doing a little, I had a problem with my hotspot. I often check into a D-Star net on Monday, the Northern Ontario D-Star net, and found that I had a problem with my hotspot. And it turned out that the software had developed a problem, so I've got to reload it. And I did have a backup for it, but unfortunately the backup was an older version, so I've got it sort of half working, but now I have to update it. So note to myself is whenever you do an update, make sure you do a new backup. But other than that, Brian, not an awful lot else going on, so just checking in and listening along. So I'll send it back to you, VA3AZA from VE3XBH.
VE3XBH, VA3AZA net control returning. Okay, Brian, actually, now that I've got you here, I can ask you about that net. I've forgotten the reflector. Is it 103C, or is it 103B, or has it moved somewhere else? I went looking on, I had 103C, I think, XRF 103C on my radio for some reason. I thought that's where it was, but is that right? Over to you.
It's 103 Bravo. That's their usual link, and if for some reason that's down, they're usually on I think it's 05 Bravo.
Roger. Okay, 103B. Oh, I should have tried that. Maybe I think I was just on the wrong reflector. I was looking for them too there on Monday night. I think my hotspot was working, but I was looking in the wrong place. So I'll have to remember that for next week. Okay, thanks for the check in there, Brian. We'll keep you on the list for the second go, and let's go down to Barry, VE3WBF. Barry, come on in. Over to you.
VA3, oh God, I've forgotten this call sign. VA3AZA, this is VE3WBF. Nothing to report here. I had my in-class lab today, and that went reasonably well. On the online lecture, it was the technology finally worked for me. And so I'm sitting here listening along and working out the solution to an assignment I gave last week. So that's how busy I've been. This is VE3WBF, back to the net. Over.
VE3WBF, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, Barry, sounds good. Yeah, the explanation, I found it, I use it quite a bit too. Every day I'm on it for a number of hours, and it's not bad, but you get, at least when I'm with students, I get quite a variety of audio situations, if you put it that way. Some people's acoustic environment is favorable for virtual classes, virtual lessons, and other people's isn't. So anyway, you just cross your fingers. You get a bunch of situations that are favorable, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Anyway, good for you. Nice to hear from you. And let's see if there are any more Echolink check-ins. We'll look for Echolink check-ins. If you're out there on Echolink and you'd like to join us for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net General Check-In, come now, please, with your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name, Echolink.
Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Yankee, Kevin. Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Yankee.
Net control. This is Kilo 1, Kilo November. Robin, Kilo 1, Kilo November.
This is Joe, Kilo 2, Juliet Papa Zulu, Kilo 2, Juliet Papa Zulu, in Claremont, Florida.
Kilo 7, November Delta Oscar, Seattle.
Okay, net control acknowledges a few check-ins there before I do a little readback. The very last check-in didn't get the whole call sign. It was a Kilo 7, and there was an Oscar Sierra in there, or it may have been Seattle. I'm not sure. Maybe you were saying you were from Seattle, but with the K7 with either the Seattle or Sierra, come again with that call sign just so I get it right.
Absolutely. This Kilo 7, November Delta Oscar. Indio up here just north of Seattle, Washington. Roger.
Okay, excellent. We got the call sign. So it's K7NDO, Kilo 7 November Delta Oscar, and the QTH is in the neighborhood of Seattle, Washington. Okay, excellent. Well, let's see. We've got K7NDO, we've got K2JPZ, and that's Joe in Florida. We've got K1KNN, and that's Robin. And we've got VA3KKY, that's Kevin in Etobicoke. So we'll go to Kevin, and we'll pass it to you. Net control to VA3KKY.
Okay, this is VA3KKY, and good evening to everybody on net. And I'm in the beaches, by the way, a little bit ways from Greenwood Avenue. And yeah, I'm not actually, that's the thing, I guess I used to listen to the repeater directly from here. It has a very good footprint here. But I haven't been able to do that for a long time, so at some point I might surprise you guys on RF. That might be one of the things. I could actually walk around at HP and probably do it, but I haven't really bothered. So, anyways, just glad I got in, just a little bit late, but I have been listening. But, you know, we'll be here for the whole thing, and pretty much... things are stabilizing. I haven't had that much problems going out. I've been using these new papers that we've had for just a little bit longer than a week, and no problems. I keep it on me, and most of the time no one ever really asks, but I do have it. So it's pretty much business as usual, and just glad to get in on the net, and everybody that's here. So I'll turn it back. As I said, please keep me on the list, and we'll be listening. So this is VA3KKY.
VA3KKY, VA3A today, net control returning. Oh, sorry, Kevin, I got your QTH wrong. You're in the beaches. Actually, that's quite a way. You're at the other side. You're opposite to Etobicoke, way over there on the eastern side of the city. So that's yeah, a little bit of a ways. So well, maybe you will be able to get RF at some point. But yeah, what can you do? Sometimes the path is. I can't remember. It might be your antenna. I think you said you had some trouble with your antenna. So yeah, maybe once it gets all fixed up, you'll have a nice path. Anyway, thank you for checking in. Always good to hear from you. Let's go down to Robin. K1KNN. That's Kilo 1 Kilo November. Robin, over to you.
Good evening, Net Control from K1KNN. Robin, QTH is Metro Detroit, Michigan, USA. My first time checking into your net. Thank you very much for checking in. I appreciate it. Great to hear everybody out there tonight. And I'll keep it short and sweet. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to Net Control from K1KNN.
K1KNN, this is VA3A today, net control returning. Okay, Robin, well, you're quite welcome. We're glad you're able to join us. Always glad to take a check-in. And we're here every Tuesday night at 8:30 local time, which is your time too. And I'm actually from part of Ontario that's relatively close to the city of Detroit. I'm down in Chatham, Ontario, just a little bit outside of Windsor. That's not where this net's coming from. This net's coming from Mississauga, which is a little further east along the 401, and kind of in the vicinity of Buffalo, a little bit north of Buffalo. Well, a little bit, not too far, I guess. Anyway, good to get you in here, and we're glad you joined us. Let's see. Let's go to K2JPZ, and that is Joe in Eastern Florida. Net control to K2JPZ.
Good evening, Net Control and the Net. This is Joe in Claremont, K2JPZ. It's about 80 degrees outside right now, 94% humidity, and I guess about 26 degrees Celsius. Just been a pleasant day all day today, kind of warm. Had a little rain in the afternoon, and I spent most of the day working in the yard, so that was pleasant. I really enjoy Echolink. I wouldn't be able to talk to all these different nets without it. And I enjoy you guys taking the time that you do to present it. So I'll just drop it with that, and again, wish you all a good 73s. K2JPZ.
K2JPZ, this is VA3AZA. And Joe, you're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Sounds like you're having some nice weather in Florida. Sounds pretty warm, actually. So that's a good time to be outside and doing whatever you have to do outside. We're here every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m., so certainly you can reach us through the magic of Echolink, and it is really wonderful. We have so many members of our club who just, they really enjoy all of the nets that are available through Echolink. I know Gary, he was in here earlier, VA3GDZ. He's quite keen on the Echolink nets too, and it's really wonderful to be able to do that. So we're glad you made it up here, and you're certainly welcome on any other Tuesday night as well. Let's go down to this is in Seattle, K7NDO. K7NDO, come on in, over to you.
K7NDO, good evening, Net Control, and thank you for taking my call there. Indio is the name up here just north of Seattle, Washington there. And I'm a late check-in, and I tried to check into this net before and wasn't sure if it was going on or what have you there. Not sure the layout or the format, if there was a question of the evening or a topic or what. If so, could you enlighten me?
K7NDO, VA3AZA, net control returning. And okay, yeah, this net is, of course, this is the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday night net, and we run every Tuesday between September and June, though. So in the summertime, the net is it's a roundtable, basically. It's an open-ended roundtable. So it's possible that you were here in the summer, and maybe you came at a time when there wasn't anyone here, but definitely running as a directed net on Tuesday nights between September and June, end of June. As for a topic or question, sometimes we do actually have a question of the evening. We don't this evening, but just doing kind of general check-ins and sort of a social net, I guess, this evening. But anyway, you're free to throw in any kind of question that you have or any topic of interest to you. Maybe some participants in the net can help you with something that's on your mind. So VA3AZA over to K7NDO.
Roger that. Well, again, thank you for having me. I think I stumbled across this net accidentally a while back, and I tried to get onto it before. Not quite sure where y'all are based out of there, but glad to be a part of it nonetheless. I just love my All-Star node and getting out wherever I can with it, and hopefully I'm sounding well. And anyway, I just wanted to say that we're in full autumn swing here in the Pacific Northwest after a record-breaking summer. We broke all kinds of records here with the heat and the lack of rain and this and that, and then like a switch, it turned off, and we're in full swing of autumn and torrential downpours here and there, and so on and so forth there. So I don't have any ham radio questions or anything like that, but could get on a soapbox about world events, but we won't do that. Anyway, I just want to say thanks for having me there and taking a late check in there. I certainly appreciate it. K7 Indio.
K7 NDO, this is VA3 net control returning. Okay, we're happy to take a check-in. And, sounds like you got the fall rains of the Pacific Northwest there. And, certainly it was warm there, and it was really warm here, too, for where we are. By the way, we're in, the net is operated by the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club. And we're in approximately near Toronto, Ontario, on Lake Ontario. Just north of Buffalo, I guess. Buffalo, New York. That's our QTH. So it's probably a little earlier for you in the evening than it is for us. You're certainly welcome to join us on any Tuesday. Our nets run on Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. local time. You have to calculate what that is for yourself. But it's an open net. Anyone can join. Okay, that brings me to the end of my list. Let's see if there are any other check-ins for the general round of our net. And I guess we'll look for RF first, and then we'll look for Echolink after. So any other check-ins for the first round of the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net on RF? Come now, please.
Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra.
Victor Alpha 3 Kilo Delta Yankee.
Okay, net control returning, and I've got a VA3KDY Kevin, and I've got a VA3HES Mark in there on RF. Maybe we'll take one more call for Echolink this time. Anyone else on Echolink? We'll get you in here, we'll go through the list, and then we'll start the 7-3. So, anyone on Echolink, come now, please.
Hello, 2 Delta Yankee, VK2DY.
Okay, net control returning, and net control acknowledges VK2DY. And let's see, we'll go to the top of the last part of our general check-in list. That takes us to Mark, VA3HES. Mark, I hope all is well with you. And we'll pass it to you. Net control to VA3HES.
VA3AZA, VA3HES. Good evening, Brian and all on net. Mark here in Mississauga at the home QTH and YouTube studio. Not too much is going on. Work has been busy, and been finding some time to play HF at night. I finally got a dipole up here at home, an off-center fed, and lots of activity in the wee hours of the morning on the 40-meter band. Made a bunch of great QSOs into various parts of Europe, so I'm pretty happy about that. Otherwise, not much else to report, Brian. Back to you.
VA3HES, VA3AZA net control returning. Okay, Mark, well, good. Oh, good to hear you. Good to hear you're active there on that HF, and it seems to be picking up too. Actually, one thing I heard about recently, I heard through our club news group, is the monitoring of weak signals. I don't know if you saw that. I think it was David who was talking about. He was actually referring to an article in the Sunday Times in England, which alluded to the use of, I believe it was the Amateur Weak Signal Propagation Network, WSPR, for the tracking of the lost aircraft, MHS 370. I don't know if you remember that disappeared a long time ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It was a Malaysian 777 that disappeared in the Pacific Ocean. Anyway, so apparently this amateur radio network has some capacity to confirm where the the aircraft was. I did, I don't know if you saw that. I looked at that. I didn't really follow all of it. I'm not an expert in it, but it looked quite fascinating. So anyway, I'm wondering if you're hearing weak signals too. I'll pass it back to you. Net control to VA3HES.
VA3AZA, VA3HES returning. I did see David's post about that article. I only poked around Whisper once. I need to definitely do some more homework, and though that is a really interesting notion, if they would be able to determine where that the lost, I believe, was the Malaysian Airlines flight wound up. That would be rather interesting and another neat use for amateur radio. Before I forget, I just want to do a YouTube check-in for Lawrence, VE3HQM, who is listening along on YouTube. So just checking him into the net, too. Back to you, Brian.
VA3HES, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, Mark, and thanks for the YouTube check-in there. And yeah, this is always something to learn. I didn't really know very much about that network at all until David sort of passed that along. But I couldn't get. I don't think I could get into that article. I think there was a paywall in front of it. But then I went and looked up the website for Whisper. I guess that's how people say it. WSPR. Quite interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. Okay, well, let's go down to Mr. Kevin, VA3KDY. Long time no talk, Kevin. I'm glad you made it in. And we'll pass it over to you. Net control to VA3KDY.
VA3AZA, Brian, VA3KDY, back to you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to participate. It's nice to hear the familiar voices. And yeah, I was also looking at that article, and I'm not really too up on that at the moment, though. There's a lot of background things that I have to go through. I've got a little bit of a dilemma here, Brian. I've got the Ameritron 811 that I've lost a tube in, and our local supplier up on Steeles Avenue doesn't sell tubes anymore. So I was wondering, I don't know where to go to get a replacement back to you.
VA3KDY, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, very interesting, Kevin. Yeah, I have to admit with that weak signal stuff, that network, I don't know a great deal about it either. That's sort of my first acquaintance with that network. But anyway, the tube, sounds like a good challenge for maybe some of our participants. I guess my first, and you probably, I'm sure you've thought of this, is just contacting Ameritron directly. But I'm not sure if they support the amp that you have. Maybe the amp is sort of out of their support period. I'm not sure. But interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. I'm not sure. Maybe someone will be able to help you out on that one. So just give the model name again. It's an Ameritron. I think I heard that much. But if you give the model name again, maybe it'll ring a bell. Over to you.
Very good. Brian, I appreciate the help. Victor Alpha 3 Kilo Delta Yankee, back to you. Yeah, it's an Ameritron AL811, so it's only the 600 watt version. There's only 3 tubes in it, and I used to be able to get them locally, but I can't anymore that I know of anyway. So as I say, I don't know where to go to get it. But anyway, thanks for thanks for listening to me and picking me up. I do appreciate it, and I'll let you carry on. Victor Alpha 3 Kilo Delta Yankee. We'll send it back to Victor Alpha 3 AZA.
VA3KDY, VA3AZA. Okay, Kevin, no problem. Pleasure to hear from you. So that was an Ameritron AL811 with a 600 whiskey output. Who knows? Maybe we'll hear something. Maybe someone knows. Let's go down to Robert. And Robert, hope all is well with you in your part of the world, across the ocean. Net control to VK2DY.
Good afternoon. It's afternoon now. This is Robert, Victor Kilo 2 Delta Yankee in Cellular Ridge, New South Wales, but all part of the urban sprawl that is Sydney. We sprang forward our clocks. We are now on daylight savings time as of last Sunday. So we get an extra hour in the evening. And even though I'm retired, I still appreciate that. For some reason, I can't really bring myself to get up early, but I can certainly enjoy the afternoon light. So I really appreciate that. Up 22 degrees here, headed for 26. And we'll be in the 30s on the weekend. So spring, summer is well on its way here. Beautiful time of the year. 594 COVID cases yesterday, 10 deaths, but the numbers keep dropping, and we are supposed to be partially out of lockdown by the 11th. So that's only a few days away now. Looking forward to that. Some stores will be demanding to see the vaccination certificate, some won't, but it's all good. I was vaccinated a long time ago, so I have the certificate if I need it. Anyway, looking good. We're moving towards spring, summer, Christmas, all that good stuff. Thank you very much for taking my check-in. VK2DY, back to net.
VK2DY, this is VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, Robert, good to hear from you. You just reminded me too. This, the COVID paperwork. I think I was saying a little earlier in the net. Every day before I go to work, I have to fill out forms saying that I'm not showing any symptoms. But today we got an email asking us to provide the evidence of for those of us who actually were vaccinated. I went through the full course. We now have to provide evidence of the vaccination, so I have to send that in too. So COVID is a lot of paperwork. Actually, your numbers sound about the same as they are here in Ontario. I think about 500 new cases, maybe about 7 deaths or so. I can't remember exactly, but it's definitely better than it was at the worst. But it seems like we're coming out of it, but I don't know. I've said that before. I think we've probably all said that before, but who knows whether it's going to be the case. I'm just going to take a quick standby here. Okay, net control is back, and that brings me to the end of the first round of the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club 2-meter net. And we'll go back up for our 7-3 and give everyone an opportunity to throw in any final thoughts, or just to give us 7-3. Remember, Kevin's looking for an Ameritron AL811 tube. If anyone has any ideas about that, 600-watt amplifier, we'll be happy to hear where we might look for such a thing. But let's try. I know Peter said he might have to get up early, but we're going to give him a try anyway. Net control to VE3WYD. Peter, are you there?
Hello, VA3AZA. This is VE3WYD. Peter. Yes, I'm still here. One question I think that few people have been wondering about. Maybe Mark has the answer for it. VA3HES. Is the Wires X repeater working yet? Back to you.
VE3WYD, VA3AZA net control returning. I believe, Peter, I believe Mark is repairing it actually. I think there was, I think the computer that was associated with the repeater suffered a hard disk failure, and Mark is replacing the hard disk actually. And anyway, maybe I'll pass it to Mark. I think that's what's going on there. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, we'll pass it over to Mark. Net control to VA3HES, Mark.
VA3HES returning. Yes, folks, the UHF machine is still currently down. Without that computer present, when it's in Wires X mode, it basically ceases to function. The computer is here, sitting on the bench in front of me, with a fresh install of Windows on it and a new hard disk, and I'm actually taking a day off of work next week so I can go up to the repeater site during business hours. It's much easier to get in there. They kind of don't like it when you show up at 8 o'clock at night. And I will put out a notice on the club reflector when the machine is back up. Back to you, Brian.
VHS, VA3 net control returning. Okay, Mark, thanks for the update, and thank you very, very much for your hard work. You do a great job supporting all that equipment, and I just want to pass that on to you. It's much, much appreciated. I know how much time it takes, and it's a bit of a challenge getting up there. Now, of course, it's dark. It's dark at 4:30. Feels like it's dark at 4:30. It's not really dark at 4:30. It's a little bit later than that, but boy, you could go up there it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Before you know it, it's pitch black. So kind of an interesting place to be when it's so dark. But anyway, thank you for your efforts on that. And Peter, does that cover your question? Net control to VE3WYD.
Hello, Net Control, and thank you. Yes, that covers it well, and thank you to Mark for all his hard work as well, and his wife with the videoing of the last meeting we had when he was away. Super job. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Good night, everyone. 73. This is VE3WYD to VA3AZA signing off. Good night, everyone.
VE3WYD, VA3AZA net control training. Okay, and 73, Peter. Oh, let's see. I don't know if Gary will be here. We'll give him a. I don't think he's there. We're going to give him a call anyway. Let's see. Maybe he's on one of the other reflectors. Let's see. VA3GDZ. Gary, if you're there, come on in for 73.
Yeah, hi there, Brian. I hope you can hear me. I'm switched to a different device. We're off touring the Muskokas tomorrow, beautiful fall colors here, and I've been listening in as much as I can. 7-3 to all, and it's great to have the people come in on the ham conference from all over. Back to you.
VA3GDZ, VA3AZA. Oh yeah, perfect, Gary. No trouble. I think on my Echolink software, you're coming up as on a tablet through the ham conference. And it was great. It was fine, wonderful. Glad you're here for the second go, and we're able to sign in there or give us your 7-3 too. Excellent. Okay, let's go down to VE3JMY. Murray, if you're still there, come on in.
Okay, Brian. Thanks again for the net, and everybody have a great week. 73.
VE3JMY, VA3AZA, net controller training. Okay, Murray, 7-3, and hopefully we'll hear you next week too. Let's go down to Ed, KF4CCY. Ed in Florida, if you're still there, come on in for our 7-3 round. Over to you. Okay, nothing heard from Ed, and let's try John. VK3HJQ, John in Australia. John, if you're still there, come on in for 7-3. Over to you. Okay, nothing heard from BK3HJQ. And Brian, if you're still there, I think you're still there. Come on in for 7-3. Net control to VE3XVH.
VA3AZA, VE3XVH. Brian, not much else to add this evening. Thanks for doing the net. Good to hear everybody in there again. And hope everybody stays safe. With that, I'll just say my 7-3. Hope everybody has a good week, and we'll be talking to you next week for sure. So I'll send it back to you, Brian. VA3AZA, VE3XVH.
VE3XVH, VA3AZA, net controller training. Okay, Brian, good to hear from you. Very good to hear from you, and glad you're able to make it in this evening. Let's go down to Barry, VE3WBF. Barry, if you're still there, come on in for 7-3.
VA3AZA, this is VE3WBF. Nothing else to report. I just wish everybody a very good evening, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday. This is VE3WBF. Over.
VE3 WBF, VA3AZA, net control. Okay, very good to hear from you. And yeah, hopefully if everything goes well, we'll be here next Tuesday. And you can check in again. That's good. Let's go down to Kevin, VA3KKY. Kevin, we'll pass it to you for a 7-3. Over to you.
Okay, 7-3 to everybody on net. And yeah, a long time ago when the Meritron AL811 was my dream amplifier. I wanted it for many years. And then eventually I stopped caring because I got into the VoIP stuff. And then that kind of took precedence, you know? Like, it was a lot easier to, you know, set up something on a little notebook and a phone, which is pretty much how I do a lot of ham radio now. So it just became less and less important. It doesn't mean I stopped caring. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It depends. It also depends at some point the condition of my outside station, actually. So we'll see what happens from there. If I figure it's worth salvaging, I might. But I might just figure, look, I mean, real is real. I do All-Stars a lot more than the RF stuff, So just saying, reality's reality. So we'll see. But that awakening's coming one day. We might put it off now because of, COVID and winter and stuff. But it's the writing's on the wall. I might decide the blazes with it and stick with the VoIP stuff. Because, as I said, the Wi-Fi and all of that, it's a lot easier to kind of manage than millions of antennas and radios and batteries and speaker mics and headphones and power mics and power meters and I'm busy. I'm going to go to bed. I'll catch y'all later. VA3KKY, have a very good evening, and we'll catch you down the coax or down the Wi-Fi or, okay, anyway, you got the picture. Catch you later. Take care. Back to net.
VA3KKY, VA3AZA, net control returning. Okay, Kevin, yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there listing all that equipment. I never really thought of it. Boy, there is a lot of stuff there, isn't there? And it's inside and it's outside, and it all has to be coordinated and managed and sometimes repaired and protected from the weather and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, the VoIP makes it a lot easier. Let someone else worry about the cabling, at least from your place to the rest of the world. So, anyway, well, we'll look forward to hearing from you next week, too. Let's see, K1, KNN, that is Robert in Detroit. Robert, if you're still there and you want to come in for a 7-3 round, come now, please. Over to you. Okay, nothing heard. And that was Robin, not Robert. Robin in Detroit, K1, KNN. Okay, let's go down to K2JPZ, and that's Joe in Florida. K2JPZ, if you're there and you want to come in for 7-3, come now, please. Okay, nothing heard on K2JPZ or K2JPZ. Let's try K7NDO. K7NDO, come on in for 7-3. Over to you. Okay, nothing heard from K7NDO, and that brings us to VA3HES. Mark, come on in. Over to you.
VA3AZA, VA3HES returning. Well, Brian, thank you. Thank you to Brian XVH and Gary GDZ for doing a great job hosting the net. It's my pleasure to do what I can to help out the club, and I do look at our repeater as our welcome mat to the world in a way that it's a way for anybody to access the club and our members and to enjoy and learn about radio. And yes, Thursday I will shorten the squelch tail and I'll put an announcement out. Anyways, 7-3 Ryan and all on net. Back to you, VA3HES.
VA3 HES, VA3 AZA, net control returning. Okay, Mark, many thanks again for your efforts. And oh boy, like the system up there is, there's a lot of stuff up there. So it certainly takes some time and effort, and we really do appreciate that, because as you say, it is like the front door. You know, it's the front door for so many people to the rest of the world in some cases, and it's the way that the rest of the world comes to us. So again, thanks very much for your efforts on that. Let's see, VA3KDY, Kevin, if you're still there, Kevin, I don't think we found out anything about your tube, unfortunately. But anyway, I hope you have some luck. The only other thing I can think of is eBay or maybe even Amazon, I don't know. But we'll pass it to you if you're still there. Net control to VA3KDY.
VA3A says, hey, Brian, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, this is why I said it's a dilemma, because, yeah, it's very difficult for me to find out where to go to get these tubes. But anyway, we'll figure something out. All this electronic stuff, or I should say computerized cell phone stuff, it's good. I mean, it helps. But I still like my wire in the air, and that's how I view ham radio still, is that type of thing. So I need to get that back and running. Anyway, Brian, thanks for having me there, and I'll say 7-3 even all on there, and we'll let you sign or finish it off soon. I think there's only one behind me. VH3 AZA, VH3 KDY. We'll send it back to you.
VA3KDY, VA3 AZA, net control returning. Okay, Kevin, good to hear from you. Maybe we'll hear from you next week too. And oh yeah, I think I like the wire in the air too. You know, all the modes are great, but that's quite a thrill when when it's just that wire and just your equipment, and then the other person in the other part of the world. So definitely, every mode has its reward, and that's quite unique on the HF doing things that way. Okay, let's go to VK2DY, and that is Robert, and we'll pass it back to you, Robert, for 7-3, and I think then we'll be just about ready to shut her down. So net control to VK2DY.
Good afternoon again, it's Robert, VK2DY. Not sure how many afternoons I'll be by with the things opening up again and the summer weather coming. I may miss a few nets as the time goes by here. I actually do like small things. I've actually got an Android 10 watch, an LEM 15 Android 10 watch that runs Echolink, DroidStar, and BlueDV Ambi. So I can go on to D-Star, I can go on to Echolink, I can go on to All-Star, I can do all sorts of things from a watch, and I like small things. You're never going to get that with a radio and a wire in the air. So that's my preference at this point, is small. Thank you again for taking my check-in. 73 VK2DY.
VK2DY, VA3 AZA, net control returning. Okay, Robert, yeah, for sure you got lots of stuff packed into that little box. I have a machine, I guess it's a Raspberry Pi 3 or 2, I can't remember. I've had it that long, the thing just keeps going and doesn't draw any attention to itself. But anyway, I'll do D-Star over that. I used to have it set up for a couple modes, but I think I had it set up for 3 modes. But it tended to work better on 2. Oh, I know, it was DMR, but I kind of switched it back to just D-Star because I was using the D-Star most of the time. Oh yeah, there's always lots of fun with those devices too. I like the computer part of it. The fact that it's a little Linux machine. I like playing with that too. So it's lots of fun. Yeah, there's no real end of things here in ham radio. You can experiment at so many different levels and so many different things. You'll find something you like. I'm always trying to encourage people, who seem to show any interest in the things that I know involve or are connected to ham radio. I'm trying to encourage people to try it because it's just so much fun. There's always a new horizon, like that WSPR net. For me, I wasn't that familiar with it until I saw someone's note about it. Now I'll have something to research. Okay, Robert. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully we'll hear from you next week, too. Just going to take a quick standby here. Okay, and well, we'll just make one other call, I guess, for any other late check-ins to the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club 2-meter net. If you're out there and you'd like to join us here at the end of the 7-3 round, come now, please, with your call sign spelled phonetically, followed by your first name. Okay, net control returning. Looks like that's the end of the night, end of the net. So, thank you for joining us tonight. If you have any comments, thoughts, or suggestions, you can contact us via email at VE3MIS@RAC.ca. That's Victor Echo 3 Mike India Sierra at Romeo Alpha Charlie Alpha. This is VA3AZA, Brian, closing the net and returning the repeater to general use. It will probably hang on to Echolink for a few minutes before it cuts out. It may cut out. We'll see if we can. We might terminate it here manually. Thank you all for your participation in 7-3.